shipping is taken care of.
So General Katoch, another way of putting this is a war that was distant. Israel, Palestine, Gaza is distant. Is it coming to your borders now?
Um, well, in a sense, if you see what is happening on the maritime front, in a sense, it is coming to our borders. Gaza was certainly not India's war. Neither is the Russian-Ukraine conflict our war. They are local tribes. In both cases, they are local tribes. They are fighting amongst themselves. We are not involved. We would be happy if there is peace. But if they wish to fight and kill each other, well, who are we to tell them not to do so? If they want peace, then we can help. So that is one aspect to it. I think, to resolve this problem, like piracy can be resolved. Piracy has been put down to a very great extent. But the drone problem is going to be a very, very difficult problem. And how we resolve this drone problem, I'm not very sure as to how it's going to be done. You see, Barkha, just one military point I want to give. Captain Sharma has given the point there are 17,000 merchant ships on any one day on the Indian Ocean. It is not possible for a non-state actor, and I will call the Houthis non-state actors, to find out which of those ships is an Israeli ship or Israeli-owned ship carrying cargo to some other country. It is just not possible. So how have they hit this particular, like Chem Pluto? We know it's a Liberian ship. We know the owner is Japan. We know it is being operated by the Netherlands. But now the Russians tell us that there's an owner who is an Israeli. Now, how did the Houthis come to know? And how do they know the exact location of that ship? This is only possible by state actors. So if we can trace out which is the state actor, then I'm afraid there will be consequences, regardless of the fact that it is a friendly country like Iran. They cannot attack our shipping, whether it is Iran or Pakistan or any other country. They cannot attack our shipping. And I think that point has to be made very clear.
So that's very, very blunt. And let me get last comments on that. Are we headed towards not putting up better defenses in our maritime waters, but actually to an expanding theater of war, General Sharma? Is that what you're advising against getting involved in? General Sharma?
Yeah, thank you. Now, the point here is that nowadays there are 100 ports all over the world which are actually willy-nilly controlled by the Chinese. Every container that's loaded off one of these 100 ports, including in the Gulf, are actually logistics is all owned by the logistics companies, also Chinese. They have the manifest, they know the details, they know the shipping, they know who owns it. So there is data available somewhere in the realm where all this information can be branded about here. First point. Second point, Houthis were targeting Indian ships, or Houthis were targeting ships which belong to Israel as a point of view, which is separate here. The Americans have been doing this 10 navies business in Red Sea for last month and a half. With what success? 4 drones came up in this weekend, the Christmas weekend. 4 drones came and hit, at least one hit a ship in the Red Sea. So the success story of 10 best navies working in the Red Sea and Bab el-Mandeb and down south is also questionable. If we do not join up with these navies, then what happened with MV Sai Baba? First ship to respond was an American ship, because our ships will also be plying out there. We have to coordinate. That's the point. Is if we don't coordinate, we will be in trouble into all ships flying our own flags. Now the problem, the question that you're raising is that there is trouble here because the threat pattern is today is this. Tomorrow somebody will do electronic warfare. It cause some kind of electronic damage or some kind of other things, all these science that is around, technology that is around. We have to coordinate with other people because we have not reached that level of the we are moving to that end, but we haven't reached it. The coordination is essential because of the realms of warfare which have increased here. And drones, I end by saying that to find out where this drone came will be well nigh impossible. Look, remember 2 years ago, Kutch had a drone which the Indian Air Force had down. How far is Kutch from this area? So we are saying Iranians and Houthis, but we are being very goody-goody about Pakistanis. Yeah, the Pakistani chief has been visiting for 8 days in United States recently. So it could come from a mainland which is closest to that area than coming from somewhere far away. I would say that we must do maximum in sea lanes of communication to protect themselves.
Okay.
But it is well nigh impossible to protect every ship. There's 80,000 ships. They are VLCCs. Now, the very large crude carriers go on their own route, and they are containers. One ship carries 22,000 containers. These are massive affairs out there. To protect each one of them is not going to be simple. It may be that there has to be some self protection. Even now, when everything is on, a ship was hijacked recently in Red Sea and taken by the Houthis. So, when American Navy and, all the other navies
Yeah.
are functioning, a ship was still hijacked, sea-jacked, or whatever you call it there. The protection has to come from within as it has to come from without.
Okay, so there are two extreme ends of this disagreement in this conversation, Ambassador Puri. One that says, look, you need help. If you don't want the American help, cooperate with the French. The other is General Sharma saying these ships the first tier of defense has to be them themselves. You can't have navies of the world guarding private ships. You're getting involved in wars where you don't know who the adversary is. Ambassador Puri?
Barkha, look, let me make a few general points to you.
Yeah.
The question of coordination, I think it's absolutely implicit. Nobody is saying people will not coordinate. Even during the anti-piracy operations, people were coordinating. So, coordination, cooperation, and let's leave out US or France with anybody who's around there. That's a no-brainer. Everybody will do, we will do, others should also do, because we also bring assets which others can take advantage of. That's one side of the story. The other business about, merchant ships doing the sea marshals, I don't know about that. Okay. There's well settled international law that these are vessels which are unarmed. There are so many other implications to all of this. What does defensive, etc. mean? I don't know the answers to all that. You can't protect every single vessel as such, but you can certainly protect areas, regions, as was mentioned to you, the sea lanes and so on. And that was done in the past. Now, of course, drones is a multiplier technology. It will make it that much more difficult. But come on, if the adversary has produced the multiplier technology, the other side will also produce the defensive technology, the deterrent technology. It will take time. But look, at the moment, these two things, it was necessary for us to take them as attacks. They are not necessarily attacks on us. We need to step up, not be very sanguine. It's not our war far away. No, the Indian Ocean region, and more than that, the Arabian Sea is important for us. Step up your vigil. Do what you can. If by any chance these things happen, you must take action in coordination. Perfectly fine.
Okay.
But, let's leave it at that.
Dr. Kumar, briefly before I give Captain D.K. Sharma the last word, if you want to come in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I'm scared of saying anything further provocative. But anyway,
No,
let me
please do. Please,
let me
please
no,
provoke us.
let me do that. You know me.
Yes.
Look, the United States was providing a global common good for a long time, which is keeping the sea lanes of communication open. Nobody can question that. I personally think there has been a decline in the US power. Everybody knows that. And therefore, it is becoming difficult for the United States to really make available this global common good, which is keeping the sea lanes of communication open. It's not possible for them to do it. I personally think there is no alternative to this whole area being divided into zones. Obviously, in the vicinity of the Indian coast, the Indian Navy shall rule the roost. Nobody is questioning that. It is for the Indian Navy to protect, let's say, 200, 300, 400 nautical miles. All I'm saying is it's not possible for India to do it from the Suez Canal to the Indian Ocean or Porbandar. That's all I'm saying. So we need to have a system in place. I think it was in place even during the Somali. So Manjeev is right. We did have that. But you're not dealing with Somali pirates anymore. The Houthi, that seemed like a walk in the park compared to what the Houthi rebels are doing. They are throwing unidentified, unmanned drones. Ballistic missiles is what Houthis are throwing at ships. This is not a joke. And that is why I think it is important now for a group of countries which have a similar view, and I think we have a similar view with some countries, including France, United States, etc. After all, what is the Quad all about? It's about keeping the sea lanes of communication open for trade, commerce, etc. So all I'm suggesting is extreme coordination. I withdraw the word help if it
Yeah.
offends anybody, but I think we need cooperation in order to solve this issue.
Okay, I think let me give the last word to Captain DK Sharma. General Katoch also made this point that we're not dealing anymore with non-state actors necessarily. I think that's something we can all agree on. We don't know, but equally we don't necessarily know that we're not. Are these the Houthis? Is there an Iran, footprint? Is there a Pakistan angle? We simply don't know right now, right, Captain DK Sharma? What would be the priority of these warships that have been deployed without talking anything operationally? What would be their priority?
Priority will be Barkha first to sanitize the area and probably start some kind of convoying so that whatever trade is exiting or entering. You see, what Sir is saying, Master Kumar is saying, is absolutely, I agree with him, because the Americans and all the coalition forces or whatever comes under Operation Prosperity Guardian, is looking after when you enter the Gulf of Aden and traverse through and are moving towards the Suez and towards the Mediterranean. But once you come out, there is a threat which has shown its head over here in the Arabian Sea. So there I am saying that Indian Navy now has sent the destroyers. So they will look after this part of the sea lanes, and inside the other forces, the US forces, the French, the UK, and I'm sure all of you have seen the maps. There are at least 30 ships over there who are, and if they are the restricted waters, it is very difficult, and you have land on both sides. So the attack can come from anywhere from there, so they have to be more vigilant. But now, since the destroyers are going to be here, and they have radars, they have their own helicopters, they will have the maritime patrol aircraft on top, and they will have control over the situations. I'm 100% sure that we will have a handle over the situation in next 24 to 48 hours, and I'm sure there will be no attacks. Mark my words, because we know our capabilities and we know how things will now pan out. And of course, cooperation will be there, coordination will be there. The Central Command is there, the US Central Command is there, a lot of assets are over there. So it is all, I think it's all happening in tandem, but not being, I would say, propagated outside that, the
That
meeting
that
rooms.
limited that limited tactical cooperation.